What's up everyone and welcome to the club. Today we'll be creating a sketch illustration of Amy Rose from Sonic 3. Welcome everyone and thanks for joining me today. For this lesson we'll need a sketch pad and a pencil. I'm going to be sketching with this 0.7mm mechanical pencil with a 2B graphite stick, but you're welcome to use whatever you'd like. Now the first thing we're going to do is set up our drawing with a couple guidelines. Let's start at the very top in the middle. Just going to lightly work our way down the center of our page using these short lines. Let's go back to the center and draw another line going across from left to right. Now I'm going to show you a simple way to create a circle in the center of our page. So from that center point, let's move up towards the top. Just going to mark off the top of our circle right about there. Now we want to measure this distance from the center down towards the bottom and do the same thing. Let's repeat that across this horizontal line. So measuring the distance from the center over towards the left and then the right side. Now we would normally connect the center point of each mark with a curve to create our circle, but we're going to simplify this step even further by adding two angled lines going across. Let's go up towards the top left, down towards the bottom right. I just want to make sure that we go in between each of these marks, about the halfway point. Come down towards the left, and then up towards the right. Now I want to do the same thing by adding those same marks across these angled lines. So measuring the distance from the center over towards the top left, right about there. Now I just want to work our way around. So we're going to start with the bottom, and then work our way across. Now I want to connect the center point with a straight line. Now this will give us the general size and shape of our circle. Now all we need to do is just smooth this out, just by curving each of those straight lines in between. And the circle doesn't have to be perfect, we're just using this as a guide for the head. You can always go back to smooth this out after. Now what I'm going to do is erase these angled lines. Going across, also cleaning up the inside edge of our circle. So just removing some of those straight lines. Now that we have our clean circle and guidelines in place, let's start blocking out the facial features. From the center line, I'm just going to drop down to right about here, draw a straight line going across. Now the eyes are going to sit along this line as well as the muzzle. Now from the center, let's move down and draw a small upside down triangle for the nose, coming in toward that center point. Let's move down, draw a straight line going across the top of the mouth. Now we're going to move out and draw a half circle for the mouth. We're just going to open this up, and down towards the bottom. Along the bottom, add a curve for the tongue. Now let's move back up and add some shape to the eyes. Leaving a gap in the center, just going to go over towards the left. Right about here, draw a straight line going up towards the top of our circle. Let's measure the same distance over towards the right and do the same thing. Now let's add some shape to the eyes. It's almost like a large half oval. Starting from this line, we're going to start with the left side. Go up towards the top of the eye. Let's round out the eye and just pull that in towards the top of the muzzle. Let's do the same thing on the right. Going up towards the same height and then back in. Now this line, I'm just going to curve this up in the middle and then down. Come down underneath the eye and then back up. Let's round up the cheeks and then pull that in towards the bottom of our circle. Now we're going to block in the iris and pupil. So along the top inside edge of the left eye, we're going to draw a long oval, coming down and then up on the inside. And we'll just line that up on the right. Draw that same sized oval. So she's kind of looking up and in. Let's draw a smaller oval in the center for the pupil. Now we've got the base structure of the face. Let's start adding the details going around. We're going to start with the ears. Now from the side of our circle, we just want to move up to right about here. Curve the ear going out and then up towards the top. And we want to line this up over on the right. So we're kind of lining this up with the top edge of the eyes. And then from the top, bend this in and then down on top of the head. Now just looking at the space and gap between that center line and the inside of the ear. We can always readjust this if we need to. Just pulling that back in. And I want to add that fur line in the center, but we're going to shift this over towards the right. So from the center, let's step down, bend this up and across, bend this in and back down towards the center. Now we want to add a curl. We're going to go up and then down towards the right eye, go up and back down. let's add another strand, going up and out, go up and then down. Now let's draw those two large spikes across the side of the head. We're going to start from the base of the ear, going out. Just going to extend this out, come around, and then in. And do the same thing on the right, going around and then in. Now we want to pull the inside edge going around the edge of the cheeks, going out, and just pull that up. Sort of aiming toward the base of the eye. Just go back and just smooth this out. Let's add that second layer in behind. So we're going to step up, in behind the ear, going out, and then in. And then we'll just tuck that up underneath to create a point. Now let's finish off the body. We're just going to simplify this. Start with a curve across the neck and collar. From the side, bend this out and then down. Now that we have the basic sketch in place, we're going to go back and clean this up by erasing some of these guidelines. Now once we've cleaned up a rough sketch, I'm going to go back in and start adding some detail and refine the shapes. Now I'd like to start with the nose. Just going to round out the top of the nose, round out the side, just adding a little bit more shape as we go. Add a little oval on the top center for a highlight. Just going to roughly shade in the bottom of the nose, going around that highlight. Now we're going to move down and add some shape to the mouth. Again, just removing that straight line. You can also add a couple teeth across the top left, and just tucking that in underneath. It's going to roughly shade in the inside of the mouth, going around the teeth and the tongue. Now we're going to add some more shape to the eyes. Just working our way around. And we can reposition the pupils and iris if we need to. I'm just going to go in and just darken that up. Enhance the outside edge of the pupil. Now along the top, we're going to add a small oval for a highlight, just overlapping the pupil. And darken up the inside. Now with the eyes, we're going to add some lashes pointing out. So starting along the top, we're just going to curve this out, back in, darken that up. And just continue to add these dark, thick points going around the outside edge of the eyes. Just add a few more. And do the same thing on the right. Now with these spikes, I want to add a fur texture along the outside. So staying within that bounding area, just working our way in, just brushing this down and then in, and then fading that up along the side of the head. Add a little bit of fur across the base of the ears. Just brushing this up and out. And I'm just roughing this in. We can come back and add some more detail after. Now with the ears, we want to trace this out along the inside. So just adding a little trim. Just rounding out the base and going up towards the top. I'm going to soften up the edge of the ears with a little bit of fur. And we'll blend that in toward the top of the head. Now I want to add some more detail to that fur across the center of the head. So I'm going to step down. Just going to brush this up and out. Just adding some softness and edges across the ends. Adding some texture. And then across this seam, just going to pull some of that texture going up and then across and out. Now in between these two spikes, we're going to add that headband. We'll bend this across from the ear and just tucking that in towards the side. And you'll see a little bit of it above the head. Let's add that fur across that back spike. Just gonna add a little bit of detail to the shoulders and collar. And then I'm going to go back and do one final cleanup before I add some more detail and shading. Now I'm going to switch to a thicker pencil. This is my 0.9 millimeter, and start adding some contrast. So I'm going to start back at the eyes. I'm going to go a little bit thicker along the outside so we can blend this into those lashes. Now I'm just going to darken up the top of the iris, going around that highlight. Then as we come down, we're just going to fade that out to create a bit of a glare across the bottom of the eyes. I'm just going to use the flat edge of our 2mm pencil and just add a little bit of light shading and tones. So we'll start with the inside of the ears. And I'm just going to add some light shadows across the bottom of the head. I'm just going to fill the inside of those shadow areas with a bit more texture. Now as we get closer to the end, I'm just going to tighten up my shadows and detail, and always be sure to sign my artwork, and that's pretty much it. There's a sketch illustration of Amy Rose from Sonic 3. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. If you do, please be sure to subscribe for more videos each week where I'll show how to draw different characters just like this. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon.